Welcome. So we're just going to go through a bunch of polynomial long division questions here, and hopefully by the end of it you feel comfortable with the process. So we have the steps written out here for a bit of help, but let's just see how we go with it. So here's our first one right here. So make sure you're not writing too big because this takes up a bit of room. So we have x plus 2, and we're going to divide x cubed plus x squared minus 14x minus 24. Perfect. Now we begin. The first thing we do, what do I multiply the leading term of the divisor by to get, so in this case, x cubed. So x times what gives me x cubed? Well, it's going to be x squared. Then I multiply this out. So I go x squared times x is x cubed. X squared times 2x is 2x squared. Then I put my brackets and I subtract like that. Remember to put your brackets, it's very important. Now x cubed minus x cubed is 0. And if you've done it correctly, this should always be 0. So if you don't get 0 there, something's gone wrong. So I don't even put 0 there, I just leave it blank because I always know that it's going to go away. Then I go x squared minus 2x squared is going to be negative x squared. Then I carry down what my next term is, so negative 14x. And that's my first step. So that's my first step done. And as you can see, it says repeat this process until step 1 is impossible. Then identify the quotient and the remainder. So now I just do it again. So I go x times what? Whoopsie. X times what gives me negative x squared? Well, that's going to be negative x. Because negative x times x is negative x squared. Negative x times 2 is negative 2x. So the way I got these numbers is I'm just multiplying out again. Then I put my brackets. I subtract. This always goes to 0, and it does again. And this now is going to be negative 14x minus negative 2x. So it's plussing. It's negative 14x plus 2x, which is going to be negative 12x. Then I carry down my next one. This is going to be negative 24. Then I do it again. So as you can see, it's just repeating the same process again and again. X times what is negative 12x? It's going to be negative 12. Negative 12 times x is negative 12x. Negative 12 times 2 is negative 24. Brackets, minus. This is going to go to 0. And this time too, negative 24 minus 24, well, that's just plussing. So it's going to be 0 here as well. Now, this is very important. Let's just stop for a second, and hopefully you can realize why this is so important. When I get no remainder out, what does that mean about my divisor? It means that the divisor is a factor of my dividend because it goes in perfectly. So don't write this down, but you can think for a second. 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. I get a remainder of 0, which means that 3 is a factor of 6. That's what it tells me. So in the same sense here, what I can say is that this right here is a factor of my dividend. And that's really important. Okay, now we can say some really important things. So we can write this down differently. So remember, we can state our solution in different ways. Let's just begin by saying that this right here, we're going to call this P of x. Just to save ourselves some room. I don't want to be writing that out again and again. So we know that we've got P of x there, which is our dividend. And now, what can we say that's very important? We can say that P of x is equal to my divisor multiplied by my quotient. And I don't have to plus my remainder here, because even if I did, I'm just plussing 0, so nothing's happening. And then the other thing that we can say, which is also very important, is if we wanted to, we could say that P of x divided by the divisor is just equal to our quotient, which is x squared minus x minus 12. So they're the two different ways that we can write down what we have found. One is saying what P of x is based on the long division that we've done, which is there. This is probably the more important way to be able to write it out. And the other one is kind of like your stock standard. When I have my dividend and divide it by my divisor, this is my quotient. So that's the way you would do it there. Okay, perfect. Now is probably a good idea to pause the video and see if you can do the next one for yourself. Okay, hopefully you paused the video. Let's now go through this one over here. So let's again come here and just write out what we're going to do. So I have x minus 3 this time, and I have 2x cubed minus 3x squared plus x minus 2. Okay, let's go. X times what is 2x cubed? It's going to be 2x squared, and then I write that 2x squared here. Oh, sorry, I go 2x squared times x is 2x cubed. 2x squared times negative 3x is negative 6x squared. Then I put my brackets, I subtract. This always goes to 0. This is going to end up plussing, which means I'm going to get 3x here. I then carry down my next term, which is x. So hopefully you got that. That's the first step done. Then we go again. X times what is 3x squared? Well, that's going to be plus 3x, right? Because 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times negative 3 is going to be negative 9x. This is going to be 10x. Then I carry down my negative 2. X times what is 10x? Well, that's going to be 10x. Sorry, just 10, because 10 times x is 10x. And then 10 times negative 30. 10 times negative 3 is negative 30. I always do that. Like that. Then we subtract. This is going to go to 0. This is going to become plus. This is going to be 28. So 28 is going to be my remainder. Perfect. So we've done it. Now we have to figure out the way that we could write our answer. So let's again just say that this right here, remind ourselves that this is our dividend, which we call p of x. So the way that we could write this down, I could say that p of x is equal to my divisor multiplied by my quotient, that's it squared, plus 3x plus 10 plus my remainder, 28. So that's the first way that I could write it down. So it's like we have factorized it. This is a very important way that you need to know how to write down once doing polynomial long division. The other way we could do this, we could say I have p of x, I've divided it by my divisor, and my answer is going to be my quotient plus 10, 3x plus 10, and then I plus on my remainder, but I have to put it over my divisor, like that. And that's the other way that you could write it down. So notice that we didn't have to do that for the other one because we got a remainder of 0, so there's no point going 0 over the divisor because it's just going to be 0. But that's the other way you would write this out. Perfect. So hopefully with this more practice here, you're feeling a bit more confident. Remember, in the exercise, you're going to be practicing this a lot as well. But it's really important that you feel comfortable with this process and that you're able to do it efficiently and accurately. So with that, I'll pause. In the next part, we'll go through some more examples together.